Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mac here from Cryptstar Staking, and today we have a wonderful guest, Kieran from Pangea. Kieran, want to go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know what you're all about?
Hi, I'm Kieran. I'm the creative stroke commercial director of Pangea. Pangea is a social media platform slash content platform with one simple difference: users get paid for views. Yeah, you come on the platform, you donate your time, your creativity, and you get tokens back. You don't have to invest anything. There's no putting your house down, none of that sort of thing. All you have to do is come, give us your creativity, and we'll give you tokens back.
Awesome, awesome. And what blockchain are you building on?
We're building on Aleph Zero.
Aleph Zero. All right. So I was kind of curious, why did you decide to choose why did you choose Aleph Zero for your blockchain of choice when you decided to build this new social media platform?
Because we had some the leadership team had some great connections. They had been supporters of AZ since day one. They really liked the high transactional throughput that was available with AZ, plus some of the built-in functions. So it's a privacy-first blockchain, I believe, and also it's got some really good tools that we're making use of, including community voting. And we've been really welcomed by the community. It's been great meeting everybody out there, and yeah, we like it a lot.
Yeah, everyone's really excited about Pangea. I hear it a lot about in my own Discord community, Dark Side Suits, and it seems like two or three people have already mentioned Pangea. They're really excited, especially with that Twitter outage over the weekend and the past couple of weeks. Elon's been trying to fight bots or something's going on there. Not quite sure what it is, if it's smoke and mirrors, but yeah. What do you think about that? Why do you think that Twitter is having so many issues recently?
I think that Twitter is just not really being supported in the way that it was. How does Twitter make money? What is Twitter about? Twitter as a news platform is very useful, but it's got a free internet model, and I think it's always suffering from that free internet model. One of the things that we definitely can be sure of is that Elon overpaid for it. I mean, it was 44 billion. I think that he tried to back out of the deal several times. He tried to actually use the number of bots on the platform as a reason to back out the deal, saying that the valuation was based on the user numbers and the user numbers were inflated because of the number of bots on the platform. So we saw him strip down the team. We saw him turn on the sort of bite the hands that feeds him with the Matt Taibbi Twitter files, where it had been shown that there was widespread government how shall we put it, moderation of content that was being posted during
Uh,
COVID.
that was pretty
Yeah.
crazy, but nobody was really surprised, I guess.
Well, it's interesting how it's been framed in the media. So in the media, it's been framed as like Twitter is turning into this platform for right-wing hate and as a cesspool of unwanted content. But in my mind, Twitter's always had a pretty rough reputation. People have been cancelled on there for day one. I don't know if you ever read a book by a guy called John Ronson, which is called "So You've Been Publicly Shamed." And he talks about this lady who is flying to Africa, and she makes this highly inappropriate tweet about some stuff in Africa. And by the time she's landed, this tweet has gone viral. She lands on the strip and she turns her phone on. Her phone practically blows up with a number of notifications. She
Jeez.
gets a phone call from her employer, and she loses her job based on a tweet that she. And she was like one of the first where this sort of cancellation thing happened. And Twitter always seems to be the platform for outrage, for cancellation, for people dogpiling each other, race showing. I think many of these terms that we've got of Twitter. So Twitter's always been highly problematic in my view, but at the same time, it's got this kind of reputation as being the news platform. But Elon's kind of slapped the hand away of the news regulator and the mainstream corporate media in America by saying that there's been widespread infiltration. So I don't know whether he's getting that backing anymore, and that's leading to this loss of revenues. There's like a very interesting interview that you can watch with the lady that he brought on. I can't remember her name, that he brought on for.
To be the head of Twitter.
Yeah, and she keeps talking about this thing called the Council for Advertising Standards or something, and she keeps calling it the much loved Council for Advertising Standards, who moderate the content, tell people what they can and can't say, have this censorship policy. And I was just thinking, much loved. Council for Advertising Standards. I mean, who much loved by whom? So I think that's where Elon's failing, is he's losing the support. He's losing the support in the monetization aspects, and I think that's the big problem with Twitter. How does he make it profitable? Any ideas?
Yeah, I mean, he did the Twitter Blue thing, and I mean, I didn't mind paying it, honestly. I thought it was good for, well, it kind of sucks as a creator to have to pay, but at the same time, if you're trying to get clients, it's very good because you get double the amount of, what is it called, SEO coverage? I don't know if that's the right word, but you get double the amount of coverage if you pay $5 a month, which isn't that much, honestly. I know nothing in life is free, but yeah, for me, it was a bit controversial. But I know a lot of people complained, especially a lot of the rich people who were already famous on Twitter. They didn't want to pay, and I was just like, you guys, come on, like, you just want that blue check mark. Then I think Elon they need to make some sort of money, otherwise Twitter's going to go bye-bye. And if you lose Twitter, then you're going to lose a lot of your fan base, or lose connection with your fan base. So, yeah, it's a stuck between a rock and a hard place, I think.
Yeah, I remember Stephen King being one of the most vocal proponents of that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
the whole argument was, I bring the audience. Yeah, you want me to pay $5 and bring my audience, and it's kind of like, well, that's the bargain that you make with the free internet. You give away your content for the broadcast, and that's and it's kind of like that's the bargain us little guys have to make at the bottom. So why don't you big guys at the top? No, I'm the big guy at the top. I don't have to. There's a different rule for me. I'm a big guy at the top.
Yeah, and I mean, they haven't monetized things like the drop shipping, sort of like Instagram has done, and it's kind of difficult because it's not a video platform. My friend, he told me, like, well, actually, I tried it myself with an experiment. I paid, $5 a day for Twitter advertising. I think I got almost 25 impressions, or 25,000 impressions or something for like $50, which was actually not bad. I mean, considering I could get outside of my own circle of, SEO reach or whatever. I don't think I gained any clients, but yeah, I just wanted to try it out and see how many impressions I got. And it's a lot cheaper than Instagram or Facebook, right?
50, yeah, $50 is pretty cheap. Did you know that Instagram is the most popular platform for monetization?
I didn't know, but I know the drop shipping. My friend, that's all he does, is he just kind of copies other people's Instagram posts and creates a new profile picture, and then he kind of sells things with the drop shipping that way. And he was running a whole business that way. And it seems to be the way that Instagram makes money, is from people like that who pay for advertising.
What, like brand endorsement deals, or like what kind of stuff is? Well, what kind of stuff is it? Because I was curious as to how they did it. I imagined it was like lots of brand stuff, lots of influencer stuff, lots of kind of sponsored deals, and advertising my product in your feed, that kind of stuff. Or is it actually just through advertising?
Yeah, I mean, you just find an interesting product on AliExpress, then she would basically put a bunch of pictures of like puppies or whatever, and then get really popular with a lot of animal lovers, and then he'd find some really cool animal product on AliExpress, and then he would advertise it on his channel that way. Or he'd pay, and then he'd pay Google, what do you call it, Instagram advertising fees to go ahead and push it to other channels. And they had a whole, thing going on. I thought it was really interesting. But I mean, that's a good way to monetize it, but it is really annoying seeing all these advertisements on Instagram. So yeah, I mean, they haven't failed yet, and it's doing much better than Facebook, I think. But yeah, what do you think that Instagram and other sort of social media platforms are failing right now?
I think the biggest problem that we're going to see in the next 2 months, and Russell Brand's got a great video about this, is the EU Digital Services Act. So the EU Digital Services Act is being put forward on the basis of protecting people online. 26 EU countries, including the UK, I believe, have signed up for it, and it goes live on August the 23rd. And I think that what this is creating is a huge amount of regulation and compliance that people are going to have to be subject to online. It means that the platforms themselves are having huge amounts of resources eaten up by the regulator, because regulatory standards are very difficult to comply to. And who decides where the line is? Who decides what's right and wrong? Do you as a user want to have your speech controlled online? It's the problem kind of is who is the judge of these things? How are they going to bring them in? How are they held accountable? And under threat is up to 6% of their overall turnover. So if they fail to comply with these laws in the EU, and that's for Twitter and Facebook, they're the two big ones that are really subject to this. They are.
I heard Telegram too, right? They're trying to block Telegram or something.
Like in the UK, I think they just want to boot Telegram off. Like there's like a movement where they just want to get rid of Telegram. It's like being identified as this. But it's. I think there's two things going on. It's like, yes, there are problem users online, but also we need to have this kind of break and this check on power. Like we're more aware of what's going on with governments and political.
They've gotten a lot bigger recently. I've noticed governments have gotten a lot bigger.
Yeah, through the COVID lockdowns and stuff, and the Mexc files on Twitter, which we mentioned earlier. You know, really shocking how much involvement that they've got. And it seems that I think that the big problem that social media networks are having is that people are beginning to increasingly feel that they're being used to control us. When we got on the internet, I first got on the internet in '96, and I was amazed by it. You know, I was like a geeky kid, always been interested in tech, did a maths degree. And I got on the internet and I could find people all over the world who were interested in crazy stuff. Yeah. I got on IRC, I got on Usenet
like Aleph Zero.
yeah. And the internet was a place where you went to see something different and be crazy and find connection. And now it feels like it's just becoming increasingly a place of control. And people are seeing the cost of a free internet, which is their data being stolen, and they're noticing that the narratives that they can engage with are just becoming more and more stilted. I spoke to a guy the other day. He's a business guy, and he said, "Kieran, why is it that like I searched on Google in 2013 and I found all these cool little micro sites and blogs that would answer my question, would be prepared to talk about controversy, all these things. Now, when I search the same questions in 2023, I just get a bunch of corporate websites and advertising. Why is that? I don't even get the answer to my question. And I think one of the reasons why ChatGPT has become so popular is because you can ask ChatGPT a question and it answers it without trying to sell you something.
Yeah, that's true.
I've started
using BS.
Yeah. I needed to change something on a YouTube account the other day. And I Googled it. I got no answer. I asked ChatGPT, and it gave me a list of instructions of what I needed to do, and I did it.
Yeah. It's very useful. Very useful.
People are fed up with that internet experience. I think people are fed up with the internet being used to like sell them stuff. So like if I look at my I'm like a creator. So imagine if I'm like a creator on YouTube. Yeah. So not only do I have to give my creativity up, but I also have to look for sponsorship deals. I also have to upload a piece of content every 3 days or I become irrelevant. Yeah. I also have to like moderate my content in favor of opaque community standards that mean that I might get my channel demonetized, deleted. There are certain things that I can't talk about. So increasingly, I'm a creator. I want to do something creative that's expressive and exciting online, but I'm being stonewalled in. I think the internet has gone from being a place where we felt it was a new kind of freedom to the walls are closing in. I think that's the best way to put it. I mean, is that something you feel? I mean,
with AI coming around, it's almost a double-edged sword because AI machine learning, because Google can just go ahead and scan through the videos really fast and filter out anything that they feel like is controversial, like anything having to do with the jab or whatever. They can just filter it out. So a lot of content creators, they don't want to cover it, otherwise they know that they're going to lose their SEO rankings and lose their viewership. So it's becoming a really big thing. And here in Japan, it's interesting. They have a word called shogunai, which means can't be helped. And I notice a lot of the mass public, they kind of go along with this, and they feel like they just can't do anything about it, so they just live with it and they focus on family. But then there's a lot of people who are kind of undercover, going to places like Mastodon or decentralized sort of social media platforms. And actually, Mastodon Japan has like the biggest community on Mastodon from what I noticed. There's over, I think, 2 million users, and that's think there's only like 1 or 2 million worldwide, but I think Japan just seems to have the biggest one, and it's
2.5
weird
million
because
worldwide.
it's made in Germany. So yeah.
Yeah,
But what do you think about
yeah.
Mastodon and the whole
Um,
decentralized social media thing? What do you think are the issues and the pros and cons? And yeah.
I think Mastodon is an interesting case. I think Mastodon suffered from being seen as touted as a Twitter alternative too soon. It was too
Mm,
early in its scale. It still needed to find out what it was about, what it was doing. Like a lot of the people say who sit outside Mastodon say the problem with Mastodon is that you have this idealized zealot kind of community who are very big on decentralization, but decentralization doesn't matter to the millions of people who just want to go on and get their news or just want to get some content or look at pictures of cats. So, what was the Shogun Ig? What was the word you used?
Shogunai, yeah, can't be helped.
Shogun.
Yeah.
So it like for a platform to have mass adoption, it's got to reach those Shogunai guys. It's great for the guys who care about it, but Mastodon's failed to kind of jump onto those Shogunais, and I think that's mainly
Mm,
because it happened too early for them. There's a really great interview with Bill Ottman, who's the founder of Minds, with Joe Rogan, where they talk about Mastodon and why Mastodon failed, or it hasn't failed, what it's seen as a drop in users.
mm.
Joe Rogan said that when he got on there, he just found it the technical path to adoption to getting on there, choosing hosts, all that kind of thing. He just found it confusing and
Some
just
of the
left it.
servers are just crappy. The main server was pretty good, but it was like it took me a day or two to get on because it was so crowded. The email verification took a while to get to me. And then the experience actually wasn't too bad, but it's like, how do you filter through things? However, they do have some shortcuts that Twitter doesn't have, and the replies and everything I think works a little bit better than Twitter in some ways.
Yeah,
But the overall, what do you call it, smoothness of the platform is not nearly what Twitter is. So,
yeah.
well, so let's go ahead and switch over to Pangea and how you plan to solve all of these issues that Twitter's having, and are you planning to, make a platform like Twitter, like Instagram, or is it like a combination of these different platforms?
Well, we want to give the users the ability to create content and link content and curate content in a way that they want to do it. So it's very important for us to get the first people on board who are going to be the people who love what we're doing and want to monetize their content. And then we want to give them the ability to say, this is how we want it structured. The basic system that Pangea works on is just a nodal system. So if you imagine it's like a big network of pieces of content where the contents are bubbles connected by different sticks, that's the best way to think about it. In a way like Web 1 worked, where you've got like a website and the website has hyperlinks to other websites, your
Hmm.
piece of content being a website. Well, you're free as a user to add your content wherever you like to this map, this web of content. Then what we want to do is we want to see who gets on there, how they use it, and then allow those early adopters who really come on board and evangelize Pangea to then go out there and decide through the community how they want it to be used, how they want to be structured. So if they want sub-communities like subreddit, we can give them sub-communities like subreddits. If they want chat rooms, we can give them chat rooms. We've got like the functions to do everything that people want, but we want it to be community-led so that the people who come on board understand that there's a difference from these centralized forms of internet, in that they get the choice. Like, so the biggest problem I think at the minute is that people just go along with everything. You see everything that they want get slowly eroded until they're just operating as another form of digital shop or digital drop shipper like your friend, or they're selling products that we just fit back into the system. How do we create something that's truly different? And the way we do that is we let the community lead it. So we give them the basic tools that they've got to set things up. And if it goes down a road that where they want it to be like Reddit, it will become more like Reddit. And if it wants to become more like Twitter, it'll become more like Twitter. But we'd like to think,
Oh, organic
yeah,
building
like,
kind of style.
yeah, would like to think, and one of the big problems with Reddit has been that Reddit won't let anybody else access their data through third-party AIs. We're going to build Pangea with a standard browser, but if people want to build Pangea with browsers that only show certain types of content, or only show certain sections of the website, or only show posts from verified users, people can choose how they interact with that data and can build on Pangea in any way that they want to access it. And we want to give people that freedom and say that this is for you. Yeah, this is for you. You bring your creative energy. So if you're a creator, you can come and just create content. But if you're a developer, you can come and develop apps and interfaces for the way that Pangea is structured and the way that Pangea is viewed. If you're a curator, you can come and help order. So this giant network, each piece of content has links between it. Those links, the strength of those links between the pieces of content, controlled prominence on the web. So if you're the kind of person who just wants to come in and help orchestrate the ordering of it, you can strengthen links. And if those links are followed, you get paid for strengthening those links. But what we've got to do really in the first instance is find those people who love what we're doing, who really get on board with what we're doing, who want to shape it with us. Like if we're going to really fulfill on our promise, which is that we are a social media network owned by everybody, we've got to let everybody have a say in where it goes. And so that's the kind of both the daunting thing and the exciting thing is that we've got all these tools there, and it's getting the people to use them and understand how they're gonna grow. So we don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what it's going to be. What we do know is that the first people that we want to get on board are the people who love crypto and love creativity. That's the community that we're going for.
I see. So you're looking to kind of capture the crypto community. I was kind of curious if Twitter fails, where the crypto community is going to go. I tried to hop on, different places. I think Blue Sky. Some people are trying to go there, and then they're trying to go to the one we were just talking about. Was it
Mastodon?
Mastodon. Yeah, it's such a weird name. That's like an elephant.
Yeah.
So yeah, like some people are going there, but there's a very small crypto community there. It's like maybe like 100 people, like not even much at all. So where are they going to go if Twitter fails? There's really no backup right now. So yeah, I'm just really curious. Where did you get the name Pangea from, by the way?
That comes from my business partner and I, my old business, which is called Sold, which is a business transformation business. I usually do all the words. So I usually come up with words, messaging. And I said to Simon, look, Simon, I always come up with all the words. I said, why don't you come up with a name for this? So he came up with Pangea, which is he's got from this idea that it's a world brought together. So his idea was that Pangea brings all the creative communities, everyone together into a new world. And that's where it came from. And to make sure that we had a bit of difference, he spelt it with a J. So that was just to give him that kind of like Simon's the cool one. Everyone loves the brand. Everyone loves the name. So
I like the name a lot, and I think that really big. Well, if you guys are viewing this video right now, go ahead and hop over to the Pangea website. It's Pangea.io, right? IO.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and of course, Pangea_IO on Twitter. Yeah, to follow us there as well. So yeah, we've got like the light paper and the white paper. And we're doing regular updates on Twitter all the time, how things are going. So
check out the website. Make sure you check out the design. It's a really, really great design. I think it kind of shows what their end goal is. Their end goal is to kind of take the imagination of the community and the viewers, as well as the expertise of Kieran and how he can take the history of other social media platforms and kind of put it together with the community and try and make something that's not coming just straight from Elon Musk's head or whatever, but it's kind of coming from everybody at once, and then their team can kind of channel it together. Really exciting.
Yeah, I think I think like on the back of all this like kind of bad news and disappointment with the internet, what I'm sensing, and I'd be interested in what your opinion on this is, Mac, is there's a real appetite for change out there. I mean, is that something that you feel? Do you feel like that people want something different? What do you mentioned that like you've been looking at alternatives to Twitter. I mean, what do you think the culture is and the atmosphere is like out there for change?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with Elon Musk in the parts that Twitter, you can tell certain accounts are just retweeting the same thing over and over again. They're just doing kind of copies of each other and using AI to go ahead and mix things up. And currently, right now, there's just not enough technology to stop that. And it's quite obvious that they're just promoting each other. And it does get kind of crazy and really nothing that you can do about it. For me, I'd really like to see more content where you can kind of block that kind of similar content that's just being pushed to you unorganically because it's being manipulated through bots, and being able to kind of downvote it or just kind of at least put it outside out of your feed, but at the same time interacting with those accounts is what boosts your account. So it's very difficult for a creator because you're trying to build your thing, but you're building your thing by building trying to help, we're actually helping the bots at the same time, so by trying to push yourself further along. So it's a very difficult task trying to be a creator and create good content that people like, and knowing what really helps people, and and trying to grow your audience as well.
Do you think that game of trying to predict what the algorithm wants, because what you're talking about there is almost like you're playing a game with what the algorithm wants?
That's fun for me too. Yeah, actually, I kind of like. It's kind of fun, but it's annoying at the same time because I really like when I like good content. The algorithm picks up on that more than anything else. But the other part about the algorithm is like with YouTube, if I only upload once a week, then I'm get completely shot. My videos are completely pushed down to the end of the bucket list. Even though the people that watch me regularly, I got at least 100 people, 150 people that watch every single video that I do. And that really hits me in the heart. It really makes me feel good because I know I always have that core audience, but without the uploading a video every day, most of my videos kind of get pushed down on the search rankings. So but playing with the algorithm is kind of fun for me. It's kind of like engineering in a way. It's what do you call like social engineering? Not social engineering. It's I've always enjoyed that kind of thing. But I would like to be on a platform where I can just focus on being creative and not have to worry so much about the algorithm, but be more focused on making good content.
It sounds like my issue with it is that as a creator, it starts to swallow up so much of your time. Like, and one of the so what you're talking about is like playing games with the algorithm. Like, to know how the algorithm works and to stay up on it, that's a huge amount of time. Make the daily video a day whilst dancing around the algorithm, plus making enough money out of it to sustain this lifestyle. Yeah, that's like, so you start to need a team behind you to do this kind of stuff. And then I think one of the biggest problems facing creators these days is...
Or you try and automate it, and then you get in trouble for botting, and it's like, you can't win, right?
Then you're part of the problem, right?
Then you're part of the problem, yeah. So.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest problems that we see with creators these days is like burnout. It's burnout. Like, I mean, how many Shane Dawsons and iDubbbz and Rice Gums is there, like, and they always seem to go on the same trajectory, which is they start off fresh and exciting and interesting, and then they end up like selling products. They end up selling products or scamming everyone with their NFT or like some awful, and it seems like this is the general trajectory of a YouTube creator. It's like jumping on a hamster wheel that's going slightly too fast for you to keep up with.
Yeah, and then you get targeted by scammers yourself, and then it's just all. And then people hack your account to scam your followers, which I think one time it happened to me, but luckily it was I caught it really fast on Twitter. Yeah. But it was like I was like, what the heck is going on? And then it's like, oh crap, I need to put 2FA. So I did that. I was fine, but yeah, it's just freaky sometimes. It's stuff that can happen overnight. You just can't stay on top of it all the time, and yeah.
Because some of the creators that we've talked to say that they just want a different platform to use. They say that, like, beyond Pangea even offering monetization and a community structure, they just want somewhere different to use. Like, people, like I know a guy who was a big guy on Vine, and he was saying to me that people even have to pay for reach on TikTok now. So like TikTok being this answer for everything now, that you can jump on there and get audience really fast. Apparently that's not true anymore. It's like you've got to pay for reach on that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if creators, like, if we had to pay for the tools to create more media, to make it much more fluid for us, to save us time. For example, using like Typefully or Tweet Hunter, or I think TubeBuddy didn't really help me that much. But there's like certain tools that I pay like $5 a month for, that I feel like if the platform themselves provide that to creators, and even if you paid a subscription fee, the actual the audience wouldn't have to pay anything to go ahead and watch. They would just, unless they wanted to upvote for their favorite creators, but the creators could pay a basic, tooling fee for the, for the automated posts, or the, the reposts, or whatever you want to do, tagging posts, and just creating content. I think that would be much better, and I think Elon Musk, he really missed on that point when he tried to create TweetDeck, because TweetDeck is kind of useless, and it's something like, I know what they're trying to do with it, but they weren't able to monetize it, and it's just kind of useless. It's just a useless tool when you compare it to some of the third-party tools. Now he's cutting out the third-party tools like, Typefully or Tweet Hunter and all, and it's just really, it's really interesting to me, because he has all this. There's such a big opportunity to make money, I think, off of creators by having them pay for these tool sets that can save them a crap ton of time.
But that is because the primary thing that they are selling is not creative tools to you, but your attention to advertisers. So if they do anything that cuts down on your attention on the site, that is a commercial loss. So like with like Google and YouTube, you sometimes think, why do they have, like, Google? What other product out there has a user guide? So SEO has a user guide that no one's quite sure how it works, that everybody's trying to guess how it works, and it regularly gets changed on them all the time. Who does this benefit? Well, it benefits Google, because no one knows quite how it works. You're always having to upload content. You're always having to upload content all the time. You're always having to look at guides as to how it works. It's like what they want is they want your attention. And like, so having like strange ways of working, like putting these features in where you have to consistently retweet stuff, anything that gets
it's you back
on anything that gets you back on the site is great for them, because what they really want is your attention. They're like they are monetizing your attention, not your. They don't really want to help you, and that's the biggest problem with the free internet, right? I mean, what's that guy say on The Social Dilemma? It's not that the internet is free, and if the internet is free, then you're the product. If the internet is free, then the change in your behavior is the product. And so you have to start wondering, if Google senses that you might get a girlfriend and you might spend less time on Google looking at dating sites, will Google start sending you materials that's like, don't get a girlfriend, 10 reasons why you. Is that what's gonna happen? Is Google's
That's
gonna
why I
start
broke up with my ex.
But you know what I mean? Is there, at what point does the platform start going, shit, this users start displaying this behavior? Like, Kieran's taking more walks in the country and leaving his phone off. Dangers of leaving your phone off. Guy left his phone off, missed out on a $10 million deal. Like, at what point do they start sending you content that winds you back in and prioritizes you and pulls you back into this kind of like web of attention that the platforms have got? And I think that's the biggest story that we don't want to talk about with the internet. I think it's responsible for the like I was reading this article the other day, and it was comparing two organizations. One was PETA and the other was like Vegans Against Factory Farming, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, PETA, yeah, I've seen that Twitter channel. What's his name? Tweets about it once in a while. What's his name? Greg?
Yeah. Everybody's heard of PETA, but nobody's heard about Vegans Against Factory Farming. But PETA sells outrage, right? And no one's ever stopped eating meat because PETA has like come in and like told them that they're bad people for eating meat. Whereas Vegans Against Factory Farming make really good arguments and are very convincing. But we live in this kind of society at the moment where people are spiked. People like being spiked by outrage. We're constantly told these lurid news stories, these crazy stuff. This guy's done this, that guy's done this. It means the world's going to end. This is going to happen. And I think the algorithm and getting our attention is responsible for this. I think we've kind of optimized the free internet to give ourselves this kind of like, it's like a machine gun of like attention. What's this? I mean, do you remember when clickbait media titles were like the big thing?
So basically, what you're saying, like to kind of summarize this, is basically you're saying, none of these tools, none of this stuff is what's really making Google or Twitter or anybody any of this money. It's your attention that's actually making all the money, which is why Twitter doesn't really focus on making tools for the creators, and then they let other companies do that. But now Elon is limiting the amount of tools that people can use, especially with like the API limitations, which is interesting to me. It's just like, well, you don't want people to, you let people make tools, but now the creators can't use the tools because you block the tools. But then, yeah, it's just, it's a mess.
I just want to like it's more in their business to have an ongoing, ununderstandable game than it is to give people clear milestones and priorities. Like as long as they've got the audience, like to keep making it difficult for the audience to do anything but coming back to deal with it is the problem. We have a phrase for this at Pangea, and the phrase is that we've seen the cost of a free internet. This is the cost of a free internet. What we're experiencing at the minute is the cost of a free internet. And if you want something better, you have to pay creators. You have to start paying the little guys who actually do all the hard work. You have to start paying the people who do all the posting, who create the content, who create the news, who create the stuff that you want to consume on the internet. If you paid those guys, then most of these problems go away. That's my opinion.
Yep. I mean, Google with, for example, YouTube, I'm paying this one guy, I watch Maverick of Wall Street. I pay him like, I think $8 a month just because he does about 5 videos a week, and I just pay, and he's private channel now. And I just like his channel. Honestly, he's been wrong. All of his financial advice and everything has been wrong the past 8 months, but he's just really fun to watch. So I watch him, and I'm just like, because he's a really cool, like it's kind of like an Italian mafia accent. So it just like really, makes me laugh. And he knows a lot about like stocks and just how the whole economy works in general. He's just really bearish all the time. But yeah, I mean, I try and pay him directly just because I'm like, he's really good. He entertains me for a good hour every day. And I learn a lot when I watch him, even though sometimes he's not the best investment advice, but I learn a lot when I watch him, I feel like. And then I just feel like that's kind of the future of how content creation is going to go with Patreon and all that kind of stuff that people are doing. I feel like it's very important for creators to go ahead and get paid directly, even if it's just like $1 or $2, which maybe Elon tried to do with his $2 subscription thing he has going on with the, what is that like? But the thing is, like, I don't even know how you can get on that because, like, I know a lot of people tried, but they weren't able to even register for it. So something like that would be really nice. And I know decentralized platforms like Library kind of have that. You can tip people, but the tipping amount is like 1 or 2 cents or something. It's just ridiculously small, and there's no real way of on-ramping fiat currency into it from their paychecks, right? So it doesn't matter if the market cap of that token that they're paying in is only $10 million. That really limits the audience that the whole platform can have. So it's interesting to see where different platforms will go. But I think, yeah, as you start off at Pangea with like a small base of creators, and then the community kind of goes around them and sort of supports them and pays them to create better and better content and gives them feedback, and everybody kind of works together in that way. I think it'll be a really, really great platform in the end.
Yeah, but thank you, Mac. Thank you very much for your time today. It's been a great interview.
Yeah, it's been really good to have you, and I hope to have you again soon. Maybe next time we could have a little bit more technical talk with one of your technical guys. I'm really curious.
Yeah, we can. I think that'd be a great idea. We can bring Lee on board, yeah, who can answer some technical questions, or we could just do an interview with him. So yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Awesome, guys. And like I said before, go ahead and check out their website. And if you want to go and learn more about Pangea, jump in their Telegram group. I also heard from a secret. I heard you guys have a secret Discord. Is that true?
we are setting that up for our creators. We're setting up a secret Discord for our first creator audience. Yeah, we are like that is in the process and in the works. Yeah.
So nudge, wink, wink, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Kieran, and hope to see you here again soon. We'll probably do a Twitter Spaces coming up in the next week or so. So you guys go ahead and pay attention for that, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys for viewing, and yeah, take care.
Can I just say, Mac, thank you for. Can I just say thank you for all the support that you've shown us recently? It's been really great. You've been fantastic. I really appreciate everything you've done for Pangea. Thank you, man.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you for being there and supporting us. So we just gotta kind of support each other, and even though economic times aren't great, we just gotta keep pushing through, because eventually the end of the tunnel will come and we'll be doing good. So
brilliant. Yeah, nice one. Great message.
All right. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time, man.